All right, joining me right now is AccuWeather lead long-range expert, meteorologist Paul Pasteluk. And, Paul, you and the long-range team today issuing the summer forecast across the country. And, of course, the summer and the spring forecasts here, especially for fires here. And, of course, we have the fires burning, not only in New Jersey, a fire burning, but also near Packerton in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, in eastern Pennsylvania. Let's talk about the fire risk along the East Coast this spring in New Jersey. And, hey, listen, we have problems in Carolinas and Florida as well.
Yeah, and it's been going on all spring that we've had this risk, and the risk is still going to continue throughout the spring season, more on the moderate to stronger side as you look at the lower mid-Atlantic, the Carolinas down into Florida. Those are the areas that are running very dry compared to average when you look at the last several months. In fact, Florida, Orlando, for example, 40% of normal since January 1st. So we're in dire need of more rain in these areas, and when these fronts come through the east, they produce a lot of wind and lowering dew points, and nothing, you don't have everything greened up just yet. And so that dryness, the wind factored in, is causing these fires to erupt. And of course, man-made or electrical, possibly causing some of these fires that we're seeing in New Jersey right now.
Paul, when I look at the fire risk for the spring, and then we'll transition to the summer, what also catches my eye is West Texas and into parts of the Four Corners area.
Exactly, and they're in more of an extreme type event, and the pattern that's set up from the winter season into the spring has really launched this situation that you're seeing right now on the map. Bright red, very high to extreme setup here, and coming up this weekend with this upper level system coming into the West Coast, that's really going to pick things up as far as the fire danger goes across that same area that you just saw on the map.
Well, let's stay in the Southwest, because as we transition into the summer months, we typically can get the fires early in the season, Paul, June and July. But then from July and August, we start talking about the monsoon coming into the Southwest. What's your official forecast for that in the Southwest? Because they haven't had a whole lot in the way of a monsoon the last couple of years.
Exactly, and we are expecting an above-average monsoon season.
Oh, that's good news.
And slightly earlier, which is even better news, because we're going to see a risk of fires in the Southwest all the way through the June time period. And then as we get into late June, early July, the initial moisture that comes up may not be enough. In fact, it could be worse in the situation. You can get dry thunderstorms producing more fires. But as you get more into July, it really should moisten up across the Southwest, and that area should start to see some relief, not only from wildfire risk, but from heat, and they need that water to fill the reservoirs up. So, and that will continue to spread into parts of southeast Utah, southwest Colorado. So the good news is a good monsoon is coming up, Bernie.
Really quickly, because I do want to get to the fall forecast quickly. What about the Carolinas? I still see a dry area there, Paul.
Yeah, we're still not out of the risk, especially in the Carolinas. I think Florida will improve in the month of May, especially week 2 and week 3. We'll see more moisture in May in Florida, but the Carolinas missing out a lot of moisture coming up in that direction.
Paul, we have about 30 seconds. We have to get to the Southwest, and there is some concern this fall about easterly winds in California.
Yeah, especially a little bit more than normal across in September. That's our concern. We do feel that there's going to be more offshore winds in September. As we get towards the end of the fall season, the peak time, that's where we may start to get moisture, and that may cut off. So it's the beginning of the fall season that we're really concerned about California right now.
AccuWeather League long-range expert meteorologist Paul Pasteluk, and of course you can read this story in its entirety on AccuWeather.com. All right, Paul Pasteluk, thanks for joining us. Stay tuned. AccuWeather Early continues after this.